The 2016 U.S. presidential election has been one for the history books, and the journey isn't over yet. In 2 weeks, the citizens of the United States will have to make a choice between Hillary Clinton, the former First Lady, Senator, and Secretary of State, or Donald Trump, a career business mogul, developer, and political outsider. The campaign has certainly been a muddy one, and both candidates have had plenty of their skeletons revealed. So today we invite Ariel Iluz, a Republican Party consultant with Republicans Overseas Israel, to tell us more about the candidates from his point of view. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
So, to begin, Trump beat out 16 other candidates and he rose with ease. Now, we're seeing something changing. Hillary Clinton is pulling ahead by 14 points. But Trump's behavior really hasn't changed since the beginning of his career as a candidate. Why do you think Trump is losing popularity now?
Actually, if we're talking about the last week, I don't think he's losing popularity. Because we can see that every day Hillary Clinton is losing popularity. And what's happened now that it's like the people are beginning to understand that they're smarter than the media. So I don't think that this is the right to say that.
Okay, well, let's talk about the issues a little bit. We'll move on from the polls because they are changing every day. Now, Hillary Clinton charged that terrorists around the world are praying for a Trump victory. Now, there are still allegations against the Trump camp working closely with Russian President Vladimir Putin. There's ongoing lawsuits that Trump is involved in, a lot of alleged abuses from shady business deals, and obviously sexual assaults. Why should anybody trust this type of candidate, in your opinion?
Because I don't think that this is the right question, if can we trust him. Because if you ask the same question about Hillary Clinton, so you can say the same thing, but Hillary Clinton have background of 30 years of career, political career, and she didn't succeed to say all the things that now she promised. So I think that Donald Trump represents something that the American needs. And of course, he won 16 other Republicans. And I think that now the Americans start to understand that maybe this part of his personality, this is the only part that can really shake up the system. That's what the American, I think, in Israeli eyes, needs.
Interesting. Well, I had a question later that I was going to ask about kind of his temperament, his presidential temperament, but we'll get to that later. Let's turn to Israel and the issues that are more specific on the ground. How does Donald Trump's plan for Israel, Syria, the Middle East as a whole differ from Hillary Clinton's plan?
All right, so it's totally different than the Democrats, because Donald Trump, just like his businesses, he believes that he needs to make the business strong. That's why I think he chose this slogan, Make America Great Again, because a great America is a great Israel. And for me, as Israeli, I can see the Israeli interest in this election. I can talk about the American issues, but I'm not American. So for me, it's very important that the next president of the United States will be real friend of Israel. If we will see the last years, we can start in 1996. Benjamin Netanyahu won, and he didn't work with a right-wing administration. And the next time he won, he didn't work with a right-wing administration too. And the first time it was Bill Clinton, the second time it was Barack Obama. And I think now the people in Israel are not just deserve for a good relationship between the leaders, they deserve for someone who will promise and will do. And there is something in Donald Trump that people say maybe it's not just words like Hillary Clinton. Maybe he will do, because for me, and in Israel there is a housing crisis. I'm a young guy. People like me would love to buy an apartment in Israel, in Jerusalem, or in South Jerusalem, in Gilo neighborhood, or in Har Homa, or next to Jerusalem, Ma'ale Adumim, and we can't. And we can't buy, and it's not because our Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. We can't because the last time that Benjamin Netanyahu confirmed to the people to build a balcony in Gilo, so Hillary Clinton was scream and shout, because I think that she see Gilo as an illegal settlement. and maybe she sees the entire Jerusalem as an illegal settlement because the embassy is still not in Jerusalem. So for me, it's very important that there is someone who say, I will move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. This is the basic thing between a relationship between leaders. Like, this is your right to choose what city is your capital.
Now, what are you guys saying to both American Jews and Israeli Jews who are concerned about a growing population of Trump supporters that, clearly support anti-Semitic rhetoric?
I don't think that there is a connection. I think that this is something that they say to make us think that there is a connection, but no, it's a right wing. You can say it in Europe also, because there is a right-wing parties in Europe, in Austria and in Germany, and I don't see the connection between those things. And by the way, how can someone think that he's an anti-Semitic when his daughter became Jewish, now convert and change their name, and his grandchildren?
Well, I mean, the issue is that he's depending on voters who come from this background, who are supporting anti-Semitic libel.
No one have control on his voters. Of course, everyone can vote for Donald Trump. I think, and I believe, and I think that it's been proved that Donald Trump loved the Jewish tradition. He said that, by the way, yesterday. He sent blessed him and Mike Pence, and he said that he loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. So no one can control the voters.
Now, let's talk about voting day. It's just around the corner. What do you think Trump can and should be doing here on the ground in Israel to get more Israeli Americans to vote for him? And how many voters do you think he already has supporting him from here?
So I can't tell the numbers, but I think the majority of Israeli, there is, by the way, more than 300,000 people in Israel who can vote. So my job, or our job in the Republican Overseas Israel, is to make that the people who have the right to vote to the right. So I really hope that Donald Trump will continue with this way to show his love to Israel and to show the connection between the states. I think that the Israelis are understand it, because those are the same Israelis that a year or 2 years ago just voted for the right wing in Israel. So I think in Israel it's more easy, but the problem is not in Israel, the problem is the swing state now.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming in. I guess we're going to see what happens.
Thank you very much, Natasha.